and native to the soil, fighting for our liberty with treasure, blood, and toil. And when our rats were threatened, the cry rose near and far, hurrah for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Hurrah, hurrah, for Southern rights, hurrah, hurrah for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. As long as the Union was faithful to her trust, like friends and like brethren, kind we were and just. But now when Northern treachery attempts our rights to mar, we'll hoist on high the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Hurrah, hurrah, for Southern rights, hurrah, hurrah for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. First out in South Carolina, nobly made the stand. Then came Alabama and took her by the hand. Next quickly Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, all raised on high the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Hurrah, hurrah, for Southern rights, hurrah, hurrah for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star.
So these are the actual earthworks from the Civil War, or the Battle of Kennesaw. These earthworks, the ground that's built up here, is from the Civil War. So they'd hide right behind this, the South would, as the North came up and tried to overtake it.
Virginia, the old Union state, with the old Confederacy at length has linked her fate. Impelled by her example, now other states prepare to hoist on high the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Hurrah, hurrah, Southern rights, hurrah, hurrah for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star.
Another good earthwork.
Joyous shouts for Arkansas and North Carolina now have both gone out, and let another rousing cheer for Tennessee be given. The single star of the bonny blue flag has grown to be 11. Hurrah, hurrah, for Southern rights, hurrah, hurrah for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star.
That angle thing that we saw on there where they were all looking down on the side of it. Tennessee Cannoneers position 212.
Like patriots of old, we'll fight our heritage to save, and rather than submit to shame, to die we would prefer. So cheer, cheer for that bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Hurrah, hurrah, for Southern rights, hurrah, hurrah for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star.
How'd you like to try to run up there, Kaden? People shooting cannons and guns at you. No thanks. Isn't it crazy people did that?
With a braced log, leaving an open space beneath it for soldiers to shoot through. Fighting from behind these defenses, the Confederates held a great advantage over the attacking Federals during the Battle of Kennesaw Mountain on June.
They're everywhere, just earthworks as far as you could see. I guess they were miles long.
Confederates raked the enemy with rifle musket fire. Despite hundreds of casualties, the Federals surged towards this protruding angle in the Confederate defense line. Death. Union Colonel Daniel McCook, a brigade commander, fell mortally wounded on the brink of these earthworks while leading his troops. That's the guy we saw that Dan, he was trying to pull him down. That's what he's talking about. As Federals reached the southern lines, savage hand-to-hand combat broke out. Confederate Major General Frank Chaffin's Tennesseans stubbornly held their line, and those Federals not shot, clubbed down, bayoneted, or captured sought shelter. The Union charge was broken.
I am but a simple man, I got no command of the written word. I can only try and tell you all the things.
So once again, how would you like to be down there with guns and rifles aimed at you? You know, they said it was almost certain death when you were doing it, knowing you're gonna die. It's the Illinois Monument, the regiment.
Just north of Marietta, all along the Kennesaw line. The sun rose high above us that morning on a clear and cloudless day.
Realizing that withdrawing under heavy fire would invite more bloodshed, they decided to dig in along this brow of the hill not covered by fire from the Confederate earthworks only 30 yards away. While half of the Federals fired toward the earthworks, the rest fierce cold. There's a big wall of earthworks here, and they came up to it and they were just getting destroyed, but they knew that if they kept running away that they would get destroyed as well. So maybe like along this bridge here, somewhere, they laid down and got as flat as they could so they couldn't get shot at, and they just dug holes, shot, while other people dug holes, and they like, what, 30 yards? So do you think it's like right there?
It depends where it ends. I don't know.
Well, if that's the stone wall.
It rumbled through the hills. Walter sighed, then he dropped his rifle. He said something to me about a whippoorwill. He said, Sammy, can't you hear 'em singing, singing for you and me, and all the Murray Grays, whoa, carry me back to Tennessee. God bless the
This is during the Civil War, though. Definitely be
and the Grand Rock City Guards.
Think about having to charge up there, people shooting at you. And think about it being about 30 degrees hotter than it is now. And you're wearing a wool uniform. You're carrying like a sleeping pad and all your stuff.
Probably not drinking good stuff, probably not eating anything.
And your feet are killing you.
You know how bad I've been wanting to go home, but I couldn't see rightly how.
So here's where they would have came from.
Colonel Field ain't gonna have no choice this time. I think I'll get my
They would have had to walk right out into this field, go up the hill.
Don't you tell me that you can't hear 'em singing for you and me, and all the Murray Grays, whoa, carry me back to Tennessee.
And then up there with the monument is where the Confederate troops are just waiting for the Union to walk up the hill and get obliterated.
I looked it up once. Is it praying? Like I'm praying on something, I'm gonna kill it? Or is it praying as I think it's praying. Oh look, he's looking.
I love how
Yeah,
you...
Daddy. Can you?
What do you mean praying? Like, which one?
Well, pray, like I pray, Lord, that kind of thing. Or praying on like an animal to kill it.
Which one was it?
He's doing
I
both.
think
He's
it's praying.
I think he's praying before he prays.
I told you I'm just a simple man. I got no
Put it in the book.
Think about this, Kaden. How hard is it to even walk up this big hill? Yeah, it gets you nice and tired.
It's not even a hot day.
You feel like you can't go any further and you got people shooting at you. This would not be optimal.
May God hasten the day when this cruel war will be brought to a close, so that our nation may enjoy peace once more. But we must remember that there may be many men yet who will still fall for their country.
Lead his 100,000-man army south from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Sherman's orders are to get into the interior of the enemy's country as far as you can, inflicting all the damage you can against their war resources. His mission, capture Atlanta, some 100 miles south, a manufacturing center and industrial hub of the Confederate war machine. Its 4 railroad lines bind together what is left of the Confederacy. For the Union to achieve final victory, Atlanta and the Confederate Army defending it must be destroyed. Prospects for a second term are dwindling by the day. Despite major victories at Gettysburg and Chattanooga, the carnage of 3 years of war has many angry Northerners demanding an immediate peace settlement with the South. A growing radical element within Lincoln's own Republican Party fear the president's re-election will be fatal to the country. Horace Greeley, the influential editor of the New York Tribune, writes, "Mr. Lincoln is already beaten. He cannot be elected, and we must have another ticket to save us from utter overthrow." On June 7th, Lincoln accepts his party's nomination, but it is hardly a ringing endorsement. Despite intense political pressure to settle for peace, Lincoln firmly believes the Union cannot be restored until total victory is achieved. By the summer of 1864, this much is certain. The campaign for Atlanta may not only decide the election, it very well could decide the fate of 2 nations. Only one last mountain remains between Sherman and Atlanta. Kennesaw Mountain is over 1,800 feet high and 2 miles long. Some call it the Gibraltar of Georgia. For Johnston, Kennesaw's rocky ridges are the ideal place to halt Sherman. The summit is a 700-foot precipice called Big Kennesaw. To the south is a spur named Pigeon Hill. Further south is a ridge soon to be known as Cheatham Hill. With an imposing 7-mile line of defense, the Confederates will dare Sherman to attack. Just 20 miles beyond Kennesaw Mountain is Atlanta. If Sherman is to be stopped, it will have to happen here. At Kennesaw Mountain, Sherman once again attempts to outflank the Confederates. But this time, it is the Confederates who are on the attack. 4 miles south of Kennesaw Mountain, General John Bell Hood moves 11,000 men to intercept the Federals. Hood's maneuver is about to backfire. Anticipating an attack, General John Schofield has entrenched his bluecoats south of Marietta at a place called Cobb's Farm. Artillerist Theodore Tracy is with the 19th Ohio Battery.
The loud yells became fiercer. And dashing out in a strong, bold front came triple lines of graycoats. As we saw the skirmish line fall back a few yards under the brow of the slope, we heard the captain's voice above the roar. Like a tornado, volley after volley were sent plunging and tearing through the massed lines, strewing the ground with fallen men. The rebels trembled under the awful fire, wavered, and then retreated.
Hood's attack, however ill-fated, convinces Sherman to make a bold change in strategy. For months, he has tried to avoid battle by outflanking the Confederates. Now, Sherman realizes he cannot take Atlanta without directly attacking Johnston's army. The Confederates are at the top, entrenched behind huge boulders. Private Jabez Cannon of the 27th Alabama.
We poured a deadly fire into the face of the advancing foe. And at the same time, the 12 cannon above us turned loose, to advance and loath to retreat.
Sherman has ordered all cooks and musicians to the Kennesaw battlefield to aid the wounded. Unarmed, Austin Gilmore attempts to save a Union soldier wounded on Pigeon Hill. The former slave is struck in the hip by a mini-ball. Yet Gilmore manages to drag the soldier to safety. The Union assault on Pigeon Hill is a disaster. An officer with the 53rd Ohio sums up the fight on Pigeon Hill by saying, "The rebels fought with a desperation worthy of a better cause." Is for a great turnaround in the war. Two days after the bloody fight, Confederate and Union forces remain in a standoff on Cheatham Hill. More than 1,800 Union dead litter the battlefield. The corpses rot in 100-degree heat. For some, a fate worse than death is to lie wounded along the Confederate earthworks. For more than 48 hours, they lay under the broiling sun, with no food and no water. On the morning of June 29th, a white flag is raised near the dead angle. It is not flown by Union troops, but rather by the Confederates. Lieutenant Colonel A.L. Fonstock.
The smell from the bodies was so offensive, but the wind was in our favor. The rebels.
One of the nurses caring for the wounded is Emma Stevenson, the emancipated slave from Kentucky. Among the hundreds wounded at Kennesaw Mountain is Asa Soper of the 30th Illinois.
Mother, I take my pen in hand to write you a few lines. I hope you are well.
The Union capture of Atlanta is the great change in the war for which Lincoln had hoped. For the very first time, many in the North now believe victory can be achieved. In November, the president defeats McClellan in a landslide. Less than a year following the Battle of Kennesaw Mountain, Abraham Lincoln's vision for a reunited nation will finally be fulfilled.